Good day, good day, good day. Well, good day. Ah, I tell you, I forget. Sometimes when I get going, I forget which camera's working. But good day and happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Hopefully you have got your significant other a little reminder of how much that person means to you. And when I say that, I can remember when I used to hate days like this near the end of my marriage before I got divorced because, boy, days were awkward like that. But if you are in a happy relationship, I really would encourage you to remind that person how much that they mean to you. All right, so we're going to get going in just a few minutes at 1 o'clock. Like most Mondays, we get going here and talk about CVOR and everything that is important about CVOR. And today I actually prepared a little presentation for you because, yeah, I'll get into it when we get going. I just think it's important that we have some structure some days to our lives. So I like to get going at 1 o'clock on Mondays. And as you know, we are talking about CVOR. All right, so there we go. We are now live. And let me switch to there. There, I think that's it. Okay, there we are. We are live on Monday. Welcome to the Secrets of Safety Dog, where we talk about something regarding CVOR and trucking on Mondays. So this week we are talking about a small portion of the Highway Traffic Act. And I just want to make sure that you understand one little piece of the HTA here in Ontario. It would be really interesting if any of the viewers of this, for instance, Mr. Stacy out in Alberta, does Alberta have something similar to what I'm about to talk about in the Highway Traffic Act? Every province has their own regulation, their own Highway Traffic Act. And I'm just wondering if Alberta has something similar. If you know of any other province that has something similar to what I'm about to discuss, please put it in the show notes down below. I'd love to hear. All right, with that, let me change screens here. All right, as usual, I just want to talk quickly or touch quickly on the ELD situation. It is about the same as last week. No new providers have been added yet. So just wanted you to know about that. No new providers added on the Transport Canada website. And I have a question about Samsara, by the way. Recently, I was talking to a client of mine, and they are going on Samsara devices. And Samsara, for some reason, decided to sell my client a device that isn't approved. And yet my client is here in Canada, and they sold... Samsara is on that list and does have an approved device. And so I asked Samsara, why would you do that? And they said, well, this device is going to be approved. And they are quite confident that the device they sold is going to be approved. That said, I'm not as confident because, as we know, there are some major players yet to be put on this list. If I can bring that back up again. And if the major players, and Samsara is a major player, of course, but some players that are not on this list yet are having, I guess, a difficulty because of the length of time. And June the 12th is fast approaching. Here we are near the end of February. Well, not quite in the middle of February. It is February the 14th, but you know what I mean. It's with the shortages and everything out there, it is tough. So I just wanted to touch on that. Why were they selling a device that is not yet approved? I'm curious. And he said he will be approved. Just wanted to say happy Valentine's Day. Don't forget about your significant others out there. All right, let's get into the presentation. The Highway Traffic Act, specifically this regulation 55.2. And what does 55.2 say? And it is directly related to insurance people telling you, have you ever heard this before? Hey, company, you should be getting your abstracts for gotta say that again. You should be getting the abstracts on your drivers every 90 days. What? The law says I've got to get them every 365 days or once a year. That's what the law says I've got to do. Why does the insurance company want me to get them every 90 days? Well, here's the answer to that. In the Highway Traffic Act, Regulation 55.2, a commercial motor vehicle within the meaning of the subsection 16-1 of the Act is exempt from 55.2 of the Act if the driver's license suspension took effect less than 100 days before the driving while under suspension takes place. So there's this piece of the Highway Traffic Act that says you got to do it every 100 days because did you know that if you loan me your car, truck, landscape vehicle, it doesn't matter what I'm driving, and I get pulled over by the police and I don't have a driver's license, a valid driver's license or a valid class of license, your vehicle can be impounded. And this applies to commercial vehicles. So whether it's a truck and tractor, a truck and trailer, a straight truck, any vehicle can be and should be impounded when they're being operated by an unlicensed driver. Well, how does a driver lose their license? Well, they can lose their license for not paying child support, for not paying tickets, they could get downgraded from a class for not doing their medical in time. So there's a lot of different ways a driver could lose either their class of license or their whole license. It could be suspended. However, if a driver was pulled over and you can prove within the last 100 days that you knew that they had a valid abstract, then your vehicle in most cases will not be impounded here in Ontario. So what I would recommend that you do is create a cycle of getting the abstracts. And this cycle starts 60 days before insurance renewal. Because 60 days before insurance renewal, you need to start preparing for your insurance renewal. And one of the things that you should do is get the 3-year driver abstract for all your fleet. So that happens 60 days before renewal. And then 90 days after that date, get the truck driver CVOR abstract. And then 90 days after that date, you go back and get the 3-year abstract. And then 90 days after that, again, you get the driver CVOR abstract. So every 90 days, you are getting an abstract, which of course, I know you're good at math, that's less than 100 days. So 60 days before insurance renewal, start this cycle. The 3-year abstract, the 90 days, then the driver abstract, the 90 days, then the 3-year abstract, wait 90 days and get the driver abstract. And then what do? 90 days after that, you repeat the whole process again. What should you be looking for? So let's see why that jumped there. That was a little bit disappointing there. Oh, for some reason that just jumps. What should you be looking for on the driver abstract? You pull an abstract, and then this is my commercial vehicle abstract. You check the class of license there. You see it's right there. Check the condition. In my case, I've got a Z. check the expiry date, check the medical date, and most importantly, perhaps, check that I'm licensed. All right, so that's what you do on that. You do the same process on the 3-year abstract. That answers the question what to do for the Highway Traffic Act Regulation 55.2. All right, so I just wanted to let you know that's what's happening under that regulation. That is why you should be getting your abstracts every 90 days. You should be getting one abstract or the other. There's 2 in Ontario, the 3-year abstract and then the 5-year truck driver CVOR abstract. So get one of them every 90 days and your insurance company will love you. MTO, by the way, when they do a facility audit, checks and make sure that you're doing it at least once annually. So in this way, you are doing it 4 times a year, which is much better than annually. The MTO will think that you are a pretty good company. Your insurance company will love you for doing it and making sure that none of your vehicles get impounded. All right, so that's it for this week. Chris Harris, The Secrets of Safety Dog. And don't forget to tune in to the Trucking Risk and Insurance podcast, where we have some really interesting guests every week. And John Farquhar and I, your hosts, John Farquhar and I get going on a number of different topics. All right, so tune into the Trucking Risk and Insurance podcast. And that's it for this week. See you next Monday, Mondays at 1.